Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're doing It Came From the Network. Topic of this It Came From the Network, WCW Monday Nitro from September 4th, 1995, also known as the very first episode of Nitro, marked as Season 1, Episode 1 on Peacock. I just recently did a top 10 of Monday Nitro moments, and it kind of sparked the nostalgia to go back and watch this episode to see how they started it off. With that being said, if you've seen my shows before, or if you haven't, I grade everything on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is the worst, 5 is the best. Let's jump right in. We start off with a hot match. Jushin Thunder Liger versus Flying Brian Pillman. This was a perfect way to start the show. For one thing, if I remember correctly, this was on a week that WWE Raw was preempted. So all of your viewers that might normally watch Raw may have said to themselves, well, since Raw's not on, let's give Nitro a chance. And when they tune in, they see a match on Nitro that they would never see on Monday Night Raw, in a style that they wouldn't have seen on Monday Night Raw at the time. Luger and Pillman do that kind of hybrid World of Sport / strong style / junior style here. This was an absolutely fantastic match. Pillman picks up the win here. I'm giving this match a 5. Like I said, I think it was an awesome way to start a show, especially trying to bring viewers in and keep them for the long run. Now, going from that, another way to maybe keep some of those WWF, WWE viewers, you show a promo with Hulk Hogan at his Pastamania store, which was at the Mall of America, the same place they're shooting the video. This was to hype up the main event, to let you know he's going to wrestle Big Bubba Rogers. Again, another guy that WWF fans may have known as Big Boss Man. So some of the fans that may have missed Hulk Hogan, may have missed Big Boss Man, might stick around to the end. Another very smart decision here. That's followed up with our next match, Ric Flair versus Sting. Two of the absolute legends of WCW, two of the top tier talents they had at the time. Again, very smart way to get those WWF fans that may have not been watching. They definitely would have read or heard Sting and Ric Flair's names in the wrestling magazines of the time if they were picking them up. This was a decent match. This was during the Arn Anderson-Ric Flair feud that they had. So Arn Anderson came out during the match and was kind of around ringside. There came a point when Flair started cheating, so Arn Anderson got in the ring and got involved. And there was also probably one of the most historic moments in Nitro history. I mentioned it on my top 10 Nitro moments. This is when Lex Luger comes out in a white puffy shirt and they're questioning why he's there. They mentioned that he has history with both these men, which was a fantastic thing for them to bring up on commentary. Again, I'm going to keep referencing this because I think so much of what they did was so intelligent because of this. If you're someone that just watched Monday Night Raw the week before, you probably saw Luger on that show, because Luger had just left WWE one night before this. The match gets thrown out. There's no decision ever said. I'm giving this one a 4. I thought it was really good. The ending was a little bit, I would have preferred a definitive decision, but it is what it is. You can't go wrong with Ric Flair versus Sting. Afterwards, we see Scott Flash Norton come out, and he's basically demanding someone to fight him, someone to wrestle him, that he signed back with the company. That brings out Macho Man Randy Savage. Basically, the security gets in between them. There's a pull apart. They announce that they're going to wrestle next week, so again, I keep harking back to this, but I think it definitely helps. It gives the fans that may have tuned back to Raw the next week, they go, well, maybe we'll tune in to see Macho Man vs. Norton. That looks interesting. Very cool that they did that. They cut away. Bischoff sends him right away to a hype video for Sabu, who was coming in. A lot of people forget this, but Sabu, during this time, he had came into WCW for a very short run that didn't work out so well. I believe he was only there less than 6 months. Kind of like Shane Douglas in his WWF run at the time. But here, again, showing you highlights of a guy that was vastly different from what they were seeing on WWF. Very good. That's followed up by a promo from Michael Wall Street, a guy they would have seen in WWF again as IRS. I keep bringing this up because most of it has to be strategic, and I think very intelligent that they did it. That leads us right into our main event of the evening, Big Bubba Rogers versus Hulk Hogan for the WCW Championship. I mean, this was a Hulk Hogan match. His feud with the Big Boss Man, aka Big Bubba, a few years earlier in WWF was a very entertaining feud, and this was a good match. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it wasn't. This was more about showing the star power, showing that you have the Hulk Hogan here, a guy that maybe some of the WWF fans or wrestling fans in general wanted to see against one of the opponents that pulls out some of the better matches with him. This is a good match. Hogan picks up the win here. Afterward, members of the Dungeon of Doom come out to attack Hogan. Kamala, the Zodiac, Kevin Sullivan, the Shark, who also is the Earthquake, Zodiac's Brutus Beefcake, and also Lex Luger comes out with Sting and Macho Man Randy Savage. Luger, Sting, and Savage kind of help Hogan fend off the Dungeon of Doom characters. Did I call them Legion of Doom a moment ago? I may have. I'm sorry if I did. Anyway, I digress. Then we get a little bit of a back and forth between Hogan and Luger. Very interesting here. Luger says he's there for one reason, and that's to get the championship, the one belt that means anything. So they immediately set up a match for the next Monday Nitro with Hogan versus Luger. Again, give the fans a reason to come back for episode 2. All in all, I thought this was pretty good. I'm giving it a 3. Overall, I thought this was a really good opening for a show, a really good way to introduce new fans, plus the fans you already have, introduce new and returning wrestlers between Wall Street and Sabu and Luger, either coming back or returning to the company. Show off the things that make you different, Flair and Sting, Liger and Pillman. Show off your big stars, Sting, Hogan, Macho Man, Flair, Lex Luger being added to that foray, Randy Savage. Great way to start a show. I thought overall it was really good. I'm giving it a 4. Fantastic episode of Monday Nitro. I'm thinking about, for next week, doing the very last episode to see the contrast between how it started and how it ended. Let me know if you like that idea in the comments. Let me know if you want to see the very last episode of Nitro next, or if you would prefer to see me do the first episode of a different show, maybe the first Raw or the first Thunder, or I've already covered the first ECW, maybe the first ECW on TNN. Let me know what you think. Hit me down here in the comments, and while you're there, smash that like button, share the video, subscribe if you haven't, and again, I want to remind you, there are memberships. Click that join button if you want to become a member. It definitely helps out the channel. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been another It Came From The Network.